Krishna Hare Hare to Bhagavat Sravana, our weekly program. Thank you so much for being here. Today is a very, very special day because we have Gauranga will be speaking to us from now until 12:30, and then we'll have Arti, and then we'll have lunch prashadam, and then Chaitanya Prabhu will be here from 2 to 4 p.m. doing a seminar after lunch on the Bhagavad Gita. So it's like a marathon day, which is really, really exciting, to incredible speakers. And I think that everyone is here today because they know Gauranga Prabhu and they want to hear from him. So, but I will still introduce him. He's absolutely amazing. He's one of the most senior disciples of Radha Swami. Was there from the very beginning days in Chaupadi, and basically him and Govinda Prabhu under Radha Swami helped develop the Chaupadi temple to what it is today. And he also, Govardhan Eco Village is what it is today because of Gauranga Prabhu, because of his tireless efforts. I heard stories about him from other devotees there, how, for example, when they were building the Govardhan Hill at the Govardhan Eco Village, which is not different than Govardhan Hill in Vrindavan, he would be tirelessly the entire day overseeing, making sure that every single rock was the perfect rocks and everything was there and that they were just going on perfectly. So he just oversees everything with so much love. And he's also an IIT engineer. He was an IIT engineer before he became a monk. He's a leadership consultant, a corporate coach, an inspirational speaker, environment leader, social reformer, spiritual leader, teacher, academician is what this says. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, learning a new word today. And he worked for the Scars before joining ISKCON. He's also the author of many, many books, including The Art of Resilience, 40 Stories to Uplift the Mind and Transform the Heart, and many, many more. So we are so grateful and blessed to have Gauranga Prabhu with us. And let's just, like they do in Chaupadi, let's chant 3 Haribols together to welcome him and to also really pray to him that he comes back more and more to Bhakti Center so we have his association more and more and more. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So I am speaking on the power of blessings this morning. Thanks to Bhakti Center for inviting me this morning for this session. I'll speak on some of the pastimes from Ramayana and Srimad Bhagavatam and from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and take a few examples, beginning with the example of Lord Ram. Lord Ram represents integrity, and in the course of his stay in Ayodhya, Lord Ram accompanies Vishwamitra Muni to assist him in his mission of conquering over the demons. They visit the kingdom of Mithila, and in Mithila, the king of Mithila, Janak Maharaj, has organized a swayamvar for his daughter Sita Devi. Sita, when she was growing up and was hardly 5 years old, she demonstrated some incredible power. There used to be a bow which belonged to Lord Shiva, known as Mahesh Chapa or Shiva Dhanush. That bow was handed down to the family of Janak Maharaj. That bow was so strong that it needed 8,000 soldiers to lift and carry. And after they would take a few steps, it was so heavy that they would have to place it down and rest for half an hour before they could again lift it up again. And that Shiva Dhanush or Mahesh Chap, as it is called, it was right at the middle of the main court of Maharaj Janak. So one day Sita Devi was playing with her friends, and then her friends wanted to pluck some flowers, and they could not reach the flowers. Sita Devi, who was only 5 years old, said to her friends, "I know how to pluck that flower, I'll go and get the bow." And Sita Devi went, and before anybody could comment or make a reaction, with her left hand she picked up that bow, which could only be picked up by 8,000 powerful Kshatriya warriors. And she went and brought the branch down, plucked the flowers and kept the bow back. Some of the ministers who were seeing that scene had a heart attack. They could not believe what they were seeing, and they went and reported to Janak Maharaj what they saw, that this is what we saw Sita do. And Janak Maharaj looked at them and said, "Are you drunk or what? How is it possible? It's not possible. Sita is only 5 years old, she can't do this." They said, "We saw it, it's confirmed." And so Janak Maharaj goes to Sita Devi and says, "Is this true, what you just did?" And Sita Devi said, "Yes, I took the bow with me, but I kept it back safe." Nothing's wrong with the bow. I kept it back. So Janak Maharaj at that moment became very fearful about how will I get this girl married. Her arms are so powerful. How will I find a suitable husband? You know, if she embraces someone, he should not become chutney. So then he said, the minimum qualification is someone should be able to lift this bow and string this bow. And that was how this qualification was established. And so when Ram enters the scene, Vishwamitra Muni tells Lord Ram, Pashya Rama Dhanurvatsa. My dear son, have a look at this bow. So the word used is Pashya. Look at it. But Lord Ram goes there, picks that bow with his left hand, and with his right hand strings it and it pulls it down. The bow breaks, and the whole universe is stunned by seeing this act of Lord Ram. And as soon as Lord Ram does this, he sees from the corner of his eye that Sita is coming forward with garland in her hand. Ram turns to Sita and says, my Guru told me to look at the bow. There was no description of any marriage. So I don't know what's going on here. So immediately Janak Maharaj and Vishwamitra Muni conferred, and it was agreed upon that with the permission and the blessings of Dasharatha Maharaj, this event will be done. And so Lord Ram, although extremely powerful, he kept himself within the confines of the permission and the authority and the order of Vishwamitra Muni and Dasharatha Maharaj. And therefore what Ramayana is bringing forth is that the real power is that when we agree to be obedient. And that was one of the most important qualities which Lord Ram came to demonstrate. The power of obedience, the power of culture, of agreeing to follow. And after the marriage, Dasharatha Maharaj decides that I will now make Ram as the king. Once he makes that decision, he calls the entire kingdom of Ayodhya. Everybody assembles, and then Dasharatha Maharaj makes this announcement that after ruling over Ayodhya for 60,000 years, I am now going to retire and make Ram the king. And as soon as he makes that announcement, there is a tumultuous sound. And there is such a huge sound. Everybody is bewildered to hear that loud sound. And Dasharatha Maharaj is the most bewildered, and he turns around to one of the ministers and says, what was that sound? And the minister says, I will only reveal if you promise me you will not punish me. Dasharatha said, why will I punish you? And the minister says, the reason there was such a loud sound was, it was the sound of a thunderous applause, appreciation from all the citizens of Ayodhya when they heard that after 60,000 years you have decided to make Ram the king and retire yourself. All of us unanimously feel that is the best decision you have made in 60,000 years. And Dasharatha Maharaj suddenly thought, am I so useless that people are celebrating my departure? What is this going on? And he started feeling insecure. And then the minister said, no, it is not your fault. It is Ram who has such super excellent qualities. It is Lord Ram who is filled with such genuine features of humility, of gratitude, of obedience, of loyalty, of caring for all the subjects. And it is you who are Ram's father. Therefore you also get the credit. And so when Dasharatha Maharaj heard that, he felt pacified and he agreed to make Ram the king. So when Ram was told by Kaikeyi to go to the forest for 14 years, Dasharath was trying to tell Ram that although Kaikeyi is saying, you must go to the forest, I give you the authority, I give you permission to defy her. I am giving you the instruction that you can defy my order. But Lord Ram smiled at Dasharath Maharaj and said that no, I have been given this instruction, I have been given this order, and I have to follow it because I have to demonstrate the importance of being obedient. And so Lord Ram at that moment made a decision to go to the forest in spite of being given the opportunity to defy that. And so both Dasharath Maharaj and Lord Ram demonstrate the nature of this world is everything will be constantly changing. And so the most important requirement in the human form of life is the quality of renunciation. And Lord Ram demonstrates renunciation and decides to go to the forest. The Narsingha Puran describes that there was a family where the father was a businessman, very successful man, completely obsessed with growing the business. And he had 3 or 4 sons. And the sons were waiting when the father will hand over the business. But the father was going on and on and on, late into his 80s. And some sons became impatient. They called one sadhu, one saintly person, and told him, we'll give you enough money, take our father out on a pilgrimage. And keep going from pilgrimage to pilgrimage, and please do not come back with him. Make sure he departs in the pilgrimage only. Whatever money you need, we will provide. So the father was taken on a pilgrimage. And after a month, the saintly person, the sadhu, wrote a letter to the sons saying that your father is constantly in samadhi, thinking about how to grow money. If I continue traveling with him 15 more days, maybe I will start a business. We are sending him back. It's too much for us. But the son said, no, don't worry, don't give up so soon, Baba. You also have the ability to transform people. Continue working. I'll send some more money. Don't worry. So he takes the father to the next place, Varanasi. Varanasi, there is a very famous ghat, Manikarnika Ghat. And there they kind of have a place where it is said that if you have your funeral there, you are guaranteed to go to the spiritual world. So many people come and do the last rites there. So when they entered into this ghat and they saw all these burning pyres, this old businessman started crying and wailing loudly with tears in his eyes. And the sadhu was elated. He thought, at last, there is some effect. I came to the right place. And then this guy was crying, I wasted my life is wasted, my life is wasted. The sadhu said, so finally you realize how you have spent your life useless? He said, yes, I realize. So the sadhu said, tell me, what is your realization? And this businessman says, whole life I did business of cloth. If I knew there is so much demand for wood, I would have done wood business. And therefore I wasted my life. So it is described that if we are having a particular thought process in life, it is not so easy to change and transform that unless we get a strong association of like-minded people. And therefore, it is described that the satsanga of the Vaishnavas acts as the forum where such transformation is enabled. Tam Sukharadhyam Rijubhir Ananyashranayamvir Kratagya Kono Seveta Duraradhyam Asadhu. In the satsanga of Vaishnavas, when we sit and hear Harikatha, feeling of gratitude arises within the heart for all that we have received from the Lord and from millions of people, and we realize that what I am today is a result of the contribution, the cumulative effect of thousands and thousands of people's contribution in our lives. And therefore, the loss of health is seen by people as loss. But what the Shastras are trying to convey is that loss of money is not a loss, loss of health is not a loss, loss of reputation is not a loss of property is not a loss of influence is not a loss of political power is not a loss. The real loss is loss of hope. And therefore, the Vaishnava Satsanga comes together to generate and ignite that hope within the heart of a practitioner. That no matter how hard you try, one thing is inevitable, that is change. Change becomes the cause of fear. And therefore, to overcome that fear, we have to be rooted in that which does not change, and that is spirit. The soul, the super soul, and the relationship of the soul with the super soul of service. These never change. And therefore, through the Ramayana, Lord Ram is demonstrating that yes, I was going to become the king the next day. Yes, I was sent to the forest. Such a major change, difficult to handle. But we have to realize that change is inevitable, and we have to tolerate to deal with such a change. And therefore Vasudeva is glorified in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Tatascha Shauri Bhagavat Prachodita Sutam Samadaya Cha Sutika Grihat. Vasudeva is glorified as Shauri, or one who is brave. Why he is called brave? Although he never fought a battle, and there is no record of him defeating anybody or killing anybody, but Vasudeva is called as brave because in spite of losing 6 sons at the hands of Kamsa, Kamsa ruthlessly killed those 6 sons right in front of his eyes. And to experience this is one of the most traumatic for any parent. And one can easily lose hope. So Vasudeva lost his 6 sons, but he refused to give up hope. And he continued trying to get Krishna as his son. And therefore Bhagavatam glorifies Vasudeva as the brave, Shauri, one who is brave because he never gave up the hope that he will get an opportunity to serve Krishna. And therefore Janmashtami, a festival of celebration, is simultaneously a festival for celebrating the bravery of Vasudeva, and bravery in the sense of never losing hope, however trying the circumstances may be. I was doing a Janmashtami lecture at IIT Bombay, and I was speaking about how there was an Akashvani. There was like a voice from the sky which revealed to Kamsa that the 8th son will be responsible for your destruction, O Kamsa. The 8th son of Devaki will kill you. And so after the lecture, one IIT student walked up to me and said, well, if it was the 8th son who was going to kill Kamsa, Kamsa could have put Vasudeva in one jail, Devaki in another jail, not even one son would have been born. It was such a simple idea. Could Vasudeva not think of such a simple idea? I said, what to do? Could Kamsa not think of such a simple idea? I said, what to do? Kamsa never went to IIT like you. But the scriptures and their pastimes Why do they go through these kind of twists and turns in the course of their narration? To share with us that one may lose various plans, one may lose one's assets, one may lose one's loved ones, one may lose relationships, one may lose one's kingdom. But one should never lose faith in three things. Vipra dharma achyutashrayaha. Aho dharmam aho kashtam yadayuyam dharmanandanaha jivitum narhata klishtam vipra dharma achyutashrayaha. When Bhishmadev sees the Pandavas along with Krishna, Bhishmadev has tears in his eyes. And he remembers all the tribulations the Pandavas went through in their entire life. And he says, yes, the Pandavas went through a lot of injustice. Yes, the Pandavas went through a lot of trauma. Yes, the Pandavas were attacked repeatedly. The Pandavas even lost their kingdom, they lost their reputation, they lost the ability to protect their wife. But the Pandavas never lost their faith in these three things. First, faith in the Vaishnavas, in the devotees, those who are practicing the principles of the wisdom and ancient bhakti. Vipra. Second, in dharma, in the principles of religion. And third, Achyuta, in the Supreme Lord Krishna. And the interesting about the Pandavas is when we go through difficulty, when we go through challenges, sometimes we feel if only Krishna was here and I could ask him, why are you putting us through this? Right? And especially if you are in leadership, in a spiritual organization, you really feel like that sometimes. If Krishna was here, I could get an easy consultation with him than going through committees which don't come to a decision. It may be easier to get an opinion. Hey Krishna, what do you think? What went wrong? What could be done to make it right? But the Pandavas were always with Krishna. And as they were going through disaster after disaster, Krishna was right there. And that's what Bhishma says. Yatra dharma suto raja gana panir prabodara Krishno striga divam chapam surat Krishnas tato vipat. And Bhishma says, I'm totally bewildered by how Krishna deals with his devotees. And he says, apparently the Pandavas family looked to be the ideal family. Yudhishthira is dharma personified, Bhima is power personified, Arjuna is skill personified, Nakul and Sahadeva are loyalty personified, Krishna is well-wisher personified, and they are always together, but repeatedly go through disaster. And therefore, Bhishma says, all I can understand is, we can never understand Krishna's will. We only have to submit to his will. And while submitting to his will, we acknowledge that we always remain subservient and submissive to the will of Krishna's devotees. And therefore, it is described by Kaviraj Goswami, Vaishnaver gunagrahi no dekhay dosh, koi mane vakya kore Vaishnava santosh. And therefore, yes, it is easy to find fault, but let us be gunagrahi and see the good qualities in the devotees. Because it is only through that devotee sangha that Krishna's mercy descends. And we can become energized by receiving that mercy. Kai mane vakya kore Vaishnava santosh, with body, mind and words, let us try to please and serve the devotees to the best of our abilities. And therefore, when Srila Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness movement, nobody imagined that it will become a global movement in such a short period of time. And Srila Prabhupada, he was simply following the instruction of Srila Saraswati Thakur. And then Srila Prabhupada was assisted by devotees who put faith in what he was instructing. Just by that combination, things manifested. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu, who joined Srila Prabhupada in the early days, he shares that at a certain point of time, he was going to be arrested and put in jail for something he had done before. And he came to Srila Prabhupada with great concern that Prabhupada will reject him. And he told Srila Prabhupada, this was 68-69 period, and he expressed to Srila Prabhupada that, Srila Prabhupada, because of something I have done in the past, I have to go to jail. And Srila Prabhupada immediately said, Krishna was born in jail. And he really felt, okay, I am not being rejected. And then Prabhupada asked, why are you going to jail? And he said, Srila Prabhupada, I was dealing with drugs. Prabhupada said, oh, me too. I was running Prayag Pharmacy. He tried to kind of play it down. And then Shyam Sundar Prabhu felt that Prabhupada is accepting him the way he is. And then Prabhupada said, don't worry, you will be released in some time. And he had no clue how it will happen, but actually in a few months, his release order came, where actually in 69 he was supposed to be in jail for at least 4 years. So that was really mystic. And imagine if he had not been released, there would be no George Harrison and no Cross Maidan, and the history would have been totally different. But then he came to India, and it was the first time he was coming to India, and Prabhupada just empowered the devotees, set up a Pandal program. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he was just driving a car through Kalbadevi market. And this was the first time he was driving in India. And if you are driving in India, you need more than a driver's license. You need access to some mystic powers also. And as he was driving, suddenly somebody came in front of him and he got hit. He crossed the road without any signal, and he got hit, and he fell on the ground, and a crowd surrounded the car. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu felt that this is the end. They're going to bury me or burn the car, or he started chanting. And then this crowd looked inside and saw who it was, and they saw Shyam Sundar Prabhu. Then they jumped on the guy who was hit and was lying on the ground. They picked him up and started beating him up. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu got even more bewildered. He was thinking, I made the mistake. Why are they beating him up? Then he thought, maybe in India they begin from there. And then they'll come on me. And then he was just looking still bewildered. The crowd moved aside and told Shyam Sundar Prabhu, please go ahead. Please drive on. And it was too much for him. He just pulled the window pane down and asked one of the bystanders, why did you do like this? I made the mistake, why did you beat him up? And one of the gentlemen who was standing on the side said, you are dressed as a Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna. How dare that person disturb Krishna's devotee? And then when Shyam Sundar Prabhu heard that, he remembered how Prabhupada had mentioned that there is so much of culture of respect for devotees of Krishna and this and that. And then he realized what a major responsibility it is. That when you are dressed as a devotee, people have expectations from your behavior, from your response, from how you would carry yourself. And therefore, when, in spite of provocation, one behaves and deals within the boundaries as given by the scripture, then Krishna's power manifests in a very strong and powerful manner. And so when Vibhishan is provoked by Ravana, in spite of repeatedly warning Ravana, he doesn't listen. Vibhishan leaves and renounces Ravana and comes with his 4 associates to take shelter of Lord Rama. These 4 associates of Vibhishan represent the 4 limbs of Sharanagati or surrender. What are the 4 limbs of surrender or Sharanagati? The first is Akinchanatvam, I have nothing. Second is Ananyagatitvam, I have no other destination apart from you, my dear Lord. Third is Saralta, the Lord is so simple, He doesn't do any background check before opening up for a relationship. And Shakti, the Lord is all powerful and therefore He can afford to have relationship with anyone without having any fear. And so when Vibhishan comes and there is a lot of resistance from Sugriva and others to accepting Vibhishan, Lord Ram overrules their objection and says, because Vibhishan first comes and offers his prayer, Sarvaloka Sharanyaya Raghavaya Mahatmane Nivedayadamam Kshipram Vibhishanam Upastitam. My dear Lord Ram, who gives shelter to the entire creation, Sarvaloka Sharanyaya, O Raghav, O Mahatma, Nivedayata, please accept my prayer. Kshipram, quickly. So the word Kshipram has been commented upon by the Acharyas. Vibhishan is saying this desire to surrender and take shelter of the Lord is a very rare desire. After millions and millions of lifetimes of journey of the soul, at a very rare moment, this desire to take shelter of the Lord and surrender to the devotees of the Lord will manifest within the heart. It's like a flicker. When there is that slight flame, it must be immediately grown into a huge inferno with the right kind of association and the right kind of ecosystem. And so Vibhishan is saying, I am coming from a demoniac family, I am the younger brother of Ravana. And this desire to surrender unto you, my dear Lord, has manifested. It is very rare. I don't know when that desire will be finished. Kshipram, therefore please accept me and let me surrender unto you immediately. And therefore when Srila Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness globally, if you see from 1955 to 65, Prabhupada published only 1 canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 10 years, 1 canto. So naturally from 66 to 77, one may wonder how many more cantos he will publish, maybe maximum 2 more. But in that 11 years period, Srila Prabhupada published up till 10th canto, 14th chapter of Bhagavatam, entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, the complete Krishna book, Nectar of Devotion, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and so many other books made out of his lectures, a total of 80 books. How was that possible? There were hardly any Sanskrit scholars around. But it happened because people were willing to align themselves with Srila Prabhupada's vision and were willing to support him. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada could establish a global society in a very short period of time, which was almost unthinkable. Prabhupada was on Juhu temple on the terrace talking to a group of people. A very famous businessman at that time, his name was Mr. Brijratan Mohta, he entered, offered his obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada introduced him. Meet Mr. Mohta, a very big businessman. And Mr. Mohta immediately folded his hand and said to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you went to America with 40 rupees in your pocket. And now you have properties all over the world worth 400 billion rupees. You are the real businessman. Prabhupada immediately said, why don't you join my business? Mr. Mohta said, I'm not ready for that right now. But Swamiji, I can support you. and assist you. And therefore, the devotees who assisted Srila Prabhupada had one powerful qualification. They were willing to assist him. And so Giriraj Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, what is the meaning of being a guru and what is the meaning of being a disciple? And Prabhupada said, Guru means one who assists Krishna, one who serves Krishna. The service of the Guru is to serve Krishna. The duty of the Guru is to serve Krishna. And the duty of the disciple is to assist the Guru in his service to Krishna. And therefore, when we get into this mood of assisting, then automatically a huge power manifests which can create transformation which is beyond our imagination. And so we have the example of Lakshman. Generally, a prince never serves another prince. A king never serves another king. One kshatriya never serves another kshatriya. It is unheard of. Lakshman was unique because from the moment he was born, the only thing he was doing is acting as an assistant to Ram. And therefore he was given the name Lakshman. What is the meaning of the name Lakshman? Sarva priyakarastasya ramasyapi sharirata Lakshmano Lakshmi sampanno bahit prana ivapara. The word Lakshman means one who is Lakshmi sampanna, one who is filled and endowed with the Lakshmi or the wealth of seva or service at the lotus feet of Lord Ram. Therefore he is called Lakshman, Lakshmi Sampanna. When Lord Ram was ordered to go to the forest, the order was only for Ram. It was not for Lakshman. As soon as Lakshman heard, he said, I am also coming with you. And Ram said, no, you take care of your wife and you stay back. No, you don't have to come. And Lakshman said, Deeptam agnim aranyam va yadi Rama pravekshati praveshtum tatramam devi tva purvam avadharaya. My dear Lord, if there is a burning forest fire, then I will enter that forest fire before you can come. Because that is my seva, to go before you and to make sure that the path is perfect for you to walk upon. I exist only to assist you and serve you. When Ram, Sita and Lakshman were brought out of Ayodhya into the forest by Sumantra, the minister of Dashrath, and as Sumantra was bidding his farewell to Ram, Sita and Lakshman, and he asked them, any message for Dashrath? Ram said, no, I have no message. Please tell my father that I am being an obedient son, I will be returning in 14 years. Sita said, tell my father-in-law that I am going to be assisting my husband. And then Sumantra looked at Lakshman and said, Lakshman, do you have any message for your father, Dashrath? Lakshman said, what? It doesn't make sense. Your statement doesn't make sense. Sumantra said, well, you don't have any message for your father, Dashrath? Lakshman said, choose one of the two words. You said father, Dashrath. Just choose only one word, Dashrath. Because from this day onwards, you can go and convey to Dashrath that he is no longer my father. Aham tavat iha praptye. Go and tell him that from this day onwards, Brata bhartascha bandhuscha pitascha mama raghava. My brother, my father, my mother, everything is Lord Ram. And therefore, Lakshman cut off his relationship with Dasharath because Dasharath became the instrument for committing a great Vaishnav aparad by breaking the heart of millions of Ayodhya Vasis who were Vaishnavas and devoted to Lord Ram. And therefore, Lakshman's mother also tells Lakshman, when you go into the forest to serve Ram, consider Ram to be Dasharath. Ramam Dasharatham vidhi, Mam vidhi Janakatmajam, and consider Sita to be me. Ayodhya Matavim vidhi. And you consider that forest to be Ayodhya. And at every moment be alert in serving the Lord at all situations, in all times. So, Lakshman, in one sense, was totally devoted to Lord Ram with great faith. So Srila Jiva Goswami explains, in our journey back home, back to Godhead, to the spiritual world, a sadhaka, a practicing devotee, needs to have two qualities. He quotes from the Bhagavatam first canto, second chapter. Tat shraddhadhana muneyo jnana vairagya yuktaya pashyantyat marijatmanam bhaktya shrutagrihitaya. And he says, a practicing devotee has to be thoughtful and faithful. Faithful and thoughtful. Both are very important. Shraddhadhana, which is faithful, and muneyo, which is thoughtful. So what does it mean? It means that we have to grow our faith in our devotion and service to Krishna and his devotees. And we have to be extremely thoughtful about not allowing things which are against our devotional service, unfavorable for devotional service, to impact us. So here we find Lakshman is both faithful to Lord Ram, at the same time thoughtful not to continue relation with activities, things, circumstances and people who would hamper his faith in Lord Ram. And therefore thoughtful does not mean questioning devotional service itself, questioning scripture itself, questioning the very basis for our faith, right? So therefore there is a thin line between being thoughtful and being skeptical and gradually allowing our faith to be eroded. And so Srila Jiva Goswami is a great example that with such a high intellect, who wrote 400,000 verses, and then when he questioned Vallabhacharya's interpretation of Pishachi in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vallabhacharya questioned Rupa Goswami's use of the word Pishachi, the ghost of desire, for mukti. So Vallabhacharya became very upset with Rupa Goswami. He said, how can you call mukti to be ghost? And then so Rupa Goswami humbly said, okay, I'll change it. Jiva Goswami was disciple of Rupa Goswami, became very upset. After Vallabhacharya had left, Jiva Goswami chased him down and went to him and said, how could you question the word Pishachi? He has not mentioned mukti as Pishachi, but desire for mukti as Pishachi. And he convinced Vallabhacharya that he made a mistake. Vallabhacharya came and told Rupa Goswami, I think I take back my edits. And your disciple is very brilliant. So Rupa Goswami said, which disciple? That boy who was sitting next to you quietly, but then later he was not so quiet. So Rupa Goswami allowed Vallabhacharya to leave. After he left, he called Jiva Goswami. He says, you are supposed to be renunciant, vairagi. You have not yet renounced your anger. And you are demonstrating non-Vrindavan spirit in Vrindavan. Get out! And for Jiva Goswami to be banished like that for protecting the honor of his own guru was heartbreaking, but he followed. And he was submissive, and he went. And he was fasting for days and months till Sanatana Goswami saw that, took compassion upon him and came to Rupa Goswami and said, hey, you're not following one of the principles of Lord Chaitanya. What is that? Jiva Daya. Compassion on Jiva. So get him back. And in fact, the history is testimony to the fact that the publication of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu got delayed by a few years because of the banishment of Jiva. Because the main secretary was not there. And because he was not there, Rupa Goswami was delayed in his publication. And it mentions to Sanatana Goswami also that, oh, Jiva is not there, therefore I am delayed in my publication. But he wanted to establish the principle of humility. And therefore he put principles over project. So his project of publication of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu got delayed, but he felt, no, this is very important for Sri Jiva to go through this experience. And so, Jiva Goswami was very thoughtful, but also very, very faithful. And, one has to understand the balance between this. Like, in a village, in India, you have bulls which go around, and there is like a mechanical system which brings out water from under and does irrigation. So it's a very simple mechanical system of shaft and gear. And so there was this bull which was going around, and the farmer was kind of behind the bull, and the bull would go round and round and the water would come out. So one big scholar, he came in and he looked at this and asked the farmer, what is this bull doing? And the farmer said, well, the bull is going around and water is coming out from under the ground and irrigation is going on. And the scholar looks at the farmer and says, what is this bell hanging from this bull? The bell is making this sound. What is the purpose of that bell? And the farmer says, well, I am in the fields and other places, but I keep hearing the sound of the bell, so I know that the bull is moving around. And when the bull stops, the sound of the bell stops, so I come and then, push the bull to continue moving. So the bell helps me understand when the bull is working, when it is not. So the scholar immediately said, hey, just see what a fool you are. If the bull just stands at one place and shakes his head, still the sound of the bell will come. You couldn't figure that out, huh? And the farmer said, he's a bull, not a scholar like you. He will not think like this. And therefore, when Jiva Goswami says, Shraddha Dhana and Munayo, so he says, one should not confuse this Muni as a tendency to question everything. One has to know what should be the boundaries of questioning. And that's what we find here with Lakshman, that yes, he was serving Lord Ram very faithfully. And then when they came to Guha, so Guha had set up a nice, mattress on the ground with grass, straw mat. And Sita and Ram were sleeping on the straw, and Lakshman was moving around Sita and Ram carrying sword in his hand. Guha looked at Lakshman and came to Lakshman and said, hey, Sita and Ram are sleeping, why are you moving around with a sword in your hand? Because Guha had some suspicion. Why is Lakshman not sleeping? And why is he having sword in his hand? So Guha started thinking, does Lakshman want to kill Ram also? And then Guha got a doubt, maybe Lakshman is Bharat's agent, who has been sent to kill Ram in the forest. Oh, that's what I know. That's what he's here for. And when he asked Lakshman, Lakshman said, well, various demons may attack him at night, wild animals may attack him, so I have to protect. That's what Lakshman said. But Guha did not believe. And Guha had such a doubt that behind the bushes, as Lakshman was circumambulating Sita and Ram, behind the bushes and trees, Guha stood putting his arrow on the bow and pointing the arrow towards Lakshman. And he was also circumambulating. He took upon himself that seva. Who gave him that seva? Nobody. He took it. Who gave him the idea that, this is what Lakshman is in the forest for? Nobody. He imagined. And as Sita and Ram were sleeping, Lakshman is circumambulating and Guha is circumambulating around him. The soldiers of Guha sees Guha. One soldier asks another soldier, what is Guha doing? Another soldier says, maybe he is not satisfied being king of the forest, he wants to become king of Ayodhya. So he is pointing that arrow towards Ram. So Guha is pointing towards Lakshman, but the rumor is he is pointing towards Ram. And then another soldier of Guha says, I am a devotee of Ram. We will never allow Guha to do this. Down with him. He says, yes, down with him. And all the soldiers of Guha take arrows on their bow, and behind further bushes, they are circumambulating, pointing their arrows at Guha. That night, only 2 people are sleeping peacefully. So the interesting thing is, all of them had pure feeling for Sita and Ram. But all the sevaks had total suspicion on each other. And therefore, the Acharyas explain that Lakshman also was subjected to, this kind of doubt, not only by Guha, also by Sita, later when she questioned his intentions and things like that. And then later, Lord Ram, when he is waiting for 4 months in Malyavanta Parvat, waiting for Sugriva to come with his army, and Sugriva is just engrossed, enjoying with his family. Ram is looking at Lakshman and says, Lakshman, Sugriva is supposed to come within a short time, it's already 4 months. Why is he not here? And then Ram is in great anger and he looks at Lakshman and says, Lakshman, you immediately go and give this message to Sugriva on my behalf. And what is that message? Nahi sankuchita panta yena vali hatogata samaye tishta Sugriva ma vali hatamanvaga. Lakshman, go and tell and inform Sugriva. Give him this warning that, dear Sugriva, Lord Ram is sending you this message. What is the message? The road through which Vali was sent to the kingdom of death, that road is still open. Better come fast. Otherwise, the road to the kingdom of death is open. Lakshman looks at Ram and says, my dear Lord, why give message? I will go and kill him only. I will kill Sugriva. Ram says, no. Do only as much as I am telling you. You give the message and come. So, Lakshman goes and gives the message. And Sugriva comes running and falls at the feet of Ram, and Lord Ram embraces him, forgives him, and understands that yes, he may have forgotten his service for some time under the influence of sense gratification. But what Lord Ram does is allows him another opportunity to serve and makes him again the king of the army. And therefore, Lord Ram allows Sugriva to continue serving him because Sugriva may have deviated for some time. But more important than the mistake of deviation was Sugriva's positive quality of being submissive and willing to follow Lord Ram. And as long as a devotee has that mood, so many other disqualifications can be accommodated. And that's how we see the power of blessings as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying for his journey to South India. He goes to the devotees in Puri and says, you give me blessings to go to South India. And when the devotees give him blessings, then only Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu travels towards South India. Makta Singha Praya Prabhu Korila Gavan Prema Veshe Jai Kuri Nam Sankirtan. And then after coming back in 2 years, Lord Chaitanya comes to Puri in 2 years. Still he doesn't go to Vrindavan because devotees don't give him blessings to go to Vrindavan. And then he waits for further 2 years. Then he goes to Bengal. In Bengal, Sanatan Goswami says, you should not travel with so many millions of people to Vrindavan. Go back. And Mahaprabhu doesn't tell, hey, who are you, man? You're a new guy. And you are telling me what I should do, not do. But he just follows and comes back. Then he goes to Vrindavan. After going to Vrindavan, Balabhadra Bhattacharya in 1 month gets fed up with the crowds and tells Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, people come in the morning searching for you. Pratah kal lok aise tomare na paye lok mora matha khaye. People come and they eat my head in the morning. I can't stay in Vrindavan anymore. So Kaviraj Goswami says, Jadyapi Vrindavan tyage nahi prabhur man bhakta ichha purite kohe madhur vachan. Lord Chaitanya did not have the slightest desire to leave Vrindavan, but to fulfill his devotee's desire, to protect his devotee from getting into trauma and trouble, he left Vrindavan in only 2 months and comes to Prayag. So therefore Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrates the importance of Vaishnav Ashirvad, or the blessings, as the means for entering into Braj Bhumi, Braj Bhav, and getting the blessings of the Supreme Lord Krishna from the core of his heart. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share a few words on this topic of the power of blessings. Thank you very much.
Gauranga Prabhu ki Jai! Now if everyone could please move the mats to the side and come forward so we can sing and dance and arti together. Thank you so much.
Hare His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Swami Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Paramahamsa Paramachakachara Sotra Sotra Shri Shri Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Saraswati Gosam Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Prem Purushottam Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunwar Kungiri Govardhan Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Mayapur Dham ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki Jai, Ganga Mai ki Jai, Jamuna Mai ki Jai, Tulsi Devi ki Jai, Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Kali Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to the divine lotus feet of Sri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga.
नाथ महाराज की
जय।
Hare Krishna, thank you again. Let's give a big round of applause to his great friends. And say one loud Haribol. We want him to come back again soon. You were being summoned. So everyone please stay. We have prasadam lunch feast served for everyone in the back. Sometimes people out of enthusiastic service start to break down these chairs, but actually you don't need to, because we're going to have another seminar in here at 2 o'clock with Chaitanya Charakabu. It's his second seminar. He did one last week, and he's doing one at 2 o'clock, and the title is How the Bhagavad Gita Teaches Through Reason More Than Faith. So please stay, come for that. He's amazing. We also have some really exciting events coming up. And if you would like to get what I'm reading from, which is the temple newsletter that goes out once a week, so just one email per week, you can go to our website, bhakticenter.org, and scroll down to the bottom and click Join Our Temple Newsletter. If you also would like to be on our temple WhatsApp, which gets just one post per day, you can come see me after the program and I can add you to that. This Tuesday, Sachinanda Swami is going to be here doing a Heart of Kirtan Sangha from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Tuesday night. Please come for that. That is going to be very, very exciting. And also, this is a little in advance, but on June 7th, we have a weekly program at 26 2nd Avenue called Srila Prabhupada Meditations Program from 6:30 to 7:30, followed by dinner prasadam. It's a really, really sweet program. If you haven't been, please come. It happens every week. We read from Prabhupada Nectar and have kirtan together and meditate on Prabhupada. On June 7th, Mukunda Maharaj is going to be zooming in from Australia. So it's an in-person event with him zooming in on June 7th. And every Tuesday we have a new program with Yogeshvara Prabhu or Joshua Green from 6:30 to 7:30 before Tuesday night kirtan, which is 7:30 to 8:30. It's called Tuesdays with Yogi Green. We launched it this last week. It happens every Tuesday. Please come for that. That's good for both long-term practitioners of Krishna consciousness and people who are new. It's good for both. And then we also have Kula Pradeep Prabhu is over here. He's our priest, and also him and Dina Bhakti Prabhu head up our spiritual care here at Bhakti Center. And we have a monthly seminar series. The next one is on May 29th from 3 to 5 p.m. It's going to be on presence versus pramada, the power of listening. And also every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2:30, right? They have open office hours downstairs on the second floor. If you just want to talk to somebody about something that's going on in your spiritual life, or know someone who just needs to talk to something, or your material life, like anything in your life, and really there's no difference. So please come for that. And we have we have Srimad Bhagavatam class every morning here at Bhakti Center. It's always on Zoom, and sometimes it's in person. The temple newsletter gives you the Zoom logins. We have incredible speakers from all around the world. We have some special in-person Srimad Bhagavatam classes coming up. One with Vaisheshika Das on Monday, June 12th from 7:15 to 8 o'clock, which will be live here at Bhakti Center. One with Chandramali Swami on Thursday, June 8th from 7:15 to 8, also here in person at Bhakti Center. And one with Janardana Swami, a very senior disciple of Gopal Krishna Goswami, June 9th. And then Little School of Bhakti continues here on Sundays for the youngsters. Sign-ups are still available, so if you want to sign up your child or a friend who has a child, please sign up for that. If you want to make a flower offering to support the flower seva for Radha, you can also do that through our newsletter or online. And that was a lot. So, yeah, Rath Yatra is on Saturday, June 10th, all day, going down Fifth Avenue, culminating in a beautiful festival in Washington Square Park, which will also be going on all day. So please come for that, bring your friends. It's very epic, organized by the Brooklyn Temple. We will have a booth, Krishna willing, this year at the Bhakti Center, which will be a listening booth. But mostly, like the Brooklyn Temple needs help for volunteering for that, so you can always volunteer through the Brooklyn Temple. And if anyone is just interested in general for helping out with this weekly program at Bhagavat Sravana, you can come and see me afterwards. We have a team of people who brought up production for this event. And next week we have Hari Vilas coming to be our speaker, so it's going to be very, very beautiful. Jai Shri Radha Jai Ki, Shri Prabhupada Ki. And he would like to make a donation. You can make a donation in the back to support this event. Yes.
That's one thing. Would love to welcome another very special guest who is here. Not just Gauranga Prabhu, who is so beloved of this community. His mother, Sri Shachi Devi, is here. She is this beautiful lady who just has a wonderful effulgence and looks exactly like Gauranga Prabhu, the other way around actually. Gauranga Prabhu looks like her. And so please shower her your love and please welcome her into our community and also take her blessings. It's very rare to have her here.